Oh yeah. By the way, I want to add an addendum, if you will. I think that's how you say it, to the last video on prayer, where praying for such a camera or praying for the camera that I have. Part of that is like people who ask, it's like, what's the point of praying for a camera? Well, it got me to make that video, right? And maybe the right person gets to see my video and think about what I'm saying. And again, with the verses I can recall but don't remember, you know, it's for the glory of God. So instead of for working for man or something like that. And so getting that camera allowed me to spread the word. So there's a benefit. So basically, I didn't feel like getting the camera out, everything. Also, it's a little late. So you get the USB camera or just a webcam, but at least you got the Blue Yeti. Okay. So hopefully the audio is a little crisper today. Here we go. What if I pick this up like here? Anyway, regardless, I have been going on a crazy streak on Bullet, which I have been dropping recently, like by accident. I got to 1950. Let me see if I can find my actual. Okay, so look, my stats, all time stats, a lot of games, but let's see Bullet. Let's see. Right now it's 1823, but all time high was 1950, so a solid 1900 player. And that eventually dropped well below 1800. 17 is like 30 something, right? I just kept losing, 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 losing as the last like 7 days. Yeah, look, a giant dip down to 1750. Yeah, because even in those 30 days, I was in the 1940s, okay? Then I just kept dropping down to 1750. And then suddenly, I said, you know what? Let me play some Blitz, right? Let me focus like a little more time. This Blitz just right now, it's not for me. I'm not locked in. Let's do some Blitz. And so, yeah, this bullet streak, oh no, it started here when I won these two games. I want to analyze the game that brought me back in Blitz over 1800. But these bullets, I was just losing, 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 losing. Until eventually, I played these two Blitz games. I was able to slow down. And as you can see, I was one win, another, one loss, win, win, draw, win, 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 draw, win, 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 draw, win. And finally got me past 1800. Actually, there's a 10-minute game here, which was not necessarily skill, more like the guy messed up because he's playing fast, but a win is a win, right? But I want to go over this Blitz game that got me over 1800 and started my streak, absolute streak in Bullet that brought me back up to 1800. Well, spoiler here, I won by checkmate. We didn't even go through game review because I already made the game review, so I don't have to, because you only get one a day or whatever. Anyway, start review. This was this weird opening that I had never seen before, but I was like, okay, I guess we can deal with it. And then D4, I should have played D4 allegedly based off the computer, but it seems to be a book move. Or my D5 seems to be a book move. It's fine. That I thought for a couple seconds here, you'll see my time go from 258 down to 255. Okay, 3 seconds, maybe not a lot. But I was definitely considering what to do next. I can't move to E5, and I don't want to move my knight. That's the thing about B4. It prevents you from moving your knight forward because he'll just kick it out immediately. So I was like, let me just attack that pawn. He didn't defend it. I didn't take it. I just kept developing. Then he defended it. I don't know if I missed it. No, 3 seconds I probably would have seen it, but I didn't want, that's probably theory or something. So I didn't go into it. Then I started attacking that pawn chain. Okay, he pushes. I attack it again. Here's his first mistake. I took free pawn. Yeah, just defend. So if he takes, I take back with the bishop or take back with the knight develop. But I just moved my knight up. Now it's a draw. Well, I'll never say because it's 0-0 in the opening that's going to be a draw. I'll wait for that kind of analysis or that kind of sentiment for when the end game actually rolls around. Again, it's a blitz game, so anything can happen. But I'm trying my best to see every single move, see if there's a pawn missing, or a pawn that's under attack, if there's a pawn hanging, your opponents drop pawns like nothing. They don't really care. They don't have respect for pawns. So I take advantage of that. So I castled. Okay, just taking more control of the center. Best move allegedly. Again, it's not something that I'm like, whoa, this has to be done 4 seconds, In a blitz game, that's quite a lot, I'd say. Well, not really. Later on, you'll see. I think I go into a bigger think. He's still trying to defend his pawn, which is apparently the bad or the incorrect move. I move my bishop out, which is recommended. I want to get my knights out, although I'll be dropping a pawn, but I have to make some maneuvers there. Trying to get my bishop out, okay. God, then I got my knights out. Surprisingly, he didn't take and didn't take, and then he could win. So I just took. Bishops are better than knights, but again, blitz game. I'm not really looking into that. Uh-huh. Yeah, I defend this because I want to move the knight, but I want to defend the pawn, or else so take, and then the bishop takes, and then I lose a pawn. So he didn't take it. I mean, that pawn's loose. I took back. It's defending. He takes back. Okay, now my pawns are all locked in. My bishop is as well. He plays d4, and pretty much all his advantage goes away. So I can just take. Well, I guess en passant is what he was looking, or what the computer was looking for. Ooh, no, it's not because of the fork. I don't know. Either way, he took back. I'm moving. Again, blitz game. I'm not too concerned over the quality. Moving my knight out. Don't really know what to do at the moment. Move out the way. Ooh, now this is where I started to see, I was like, okay, there's got to be something here. So, always, if you have the opportunity, sometimes it's just better to push by two squares instead of just one. But either way, he attacked my rook. I moved it out. Trade. Attacks. Go back. Takes my pawn. Finally, and it's still kind of even according to the computer. And this is where it started, where my true genius play started. Well, you might be able to see it on the side if you're cheating, if you would, to see. Maybe I should try to cover it. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I can try. Let me move me up here. And so afterwards, I was like, this looks, it looks all right. I am a minute down on times, like exactly. But then he blundered. Now, obviously, you have to see the move that, makes it a blunder. And I did. And this was mainly on instinct. I was trying to calculate from 1 minute 10 to 52. So a couple seconds, but I was, at some point I just had to realize this has to be good, right? Like the move I saw, which is, as you can see, a brilliant move, knight takes f2. It was just begging to be played. The knight's in there, the bishop's not there. All his pieces are on the queen side. The knight's misplaced. My bishop's on that same diagonal as his king. His rook is somewhere in the game, clean off, but not really. The queen's there, but doesn't really have any checks or anything. And the bishop is just, I don't know, really passive. So everything, I don't know, something in me, something in my chess mind told me you have to take. And so I did. He takes back, I take with check. I said, okay, what do I do now? I said, I don't want to let him get away. So, attack him with the queen. And now he has to move to the side unless he wants to lose his bishop. Oh, so he moves. Said I could have moved my queen up, taking the bishop, but at this point I was like, his king's getting away, but I don't want I don't want that, right? I don't want his king to get away. So I moved back. Apparently he can draw. Where I lost most of my advantage, but again, I know it's a blitz game. We're not grandmasters. He's only 1768 actually, so I was like, he'll probably mess this up, and sure enough, he did, and it was mate in one. But I don't know. I don't know what he could have done. I know it's saying this and this. See, that's the thing I don't like about the engine on chess.com. It literally just said that's the best move. That's what like the arrow is suggesting that, and then it just says it's a mistake. Like you'll make a move, and then it'll tell you this is the best move in response. You do that move, and then it's -2, right? For you, like you're not winning. So I'm like, I don't understand how the engine is just not fast enough. It's not strong enough, and so you end up with these thoughts, if you will, of how the position is when in reality it's nothing like that. But again, that's just a problem with chess.com. But damn, I saw this move here, truly beautiful. I knew this had to be a brilliant move because, and also I think it's the only like best move. So I can run analysis on this. But yeah, he made his bishop g2 blunder. The best move is knight takes f2 or g5 is the second best move. That was like all your advantage, right? And still, look, it's a miss. Obviously, based off of the 3 points, and it's again, I do not endorse the engine on chess.com. It doesn't know what it's talking about. Don't ever listen to it. Okay, this just no. Either way, this move was just oh god, begging to be played. If you saw this position and didn't see the lines on the side, and you saw this move and saw it was a blunder, and you instantly knew like it just has you were ready to sacrifice that knight. You got potential, okay, for chess. Okay, if you saw that knight takes f2, and even if you didn't calculate everything or anything at all, just like me, like I calculated some lines, but at some point I was just like, you know what? It's either winning or it's not. And sure enough, it was winning. Again, Engine says I pretty much botched it, but no one's finding the best moves here. So, what is the best move anyway? Rook D2. Yeah, Rook D2. I guess that's findable. I guess doable. I don't know. It's a blitz game. It's a roaring attack, if you will. It's kind of scary to defend against. So, there's that as well. But either way, oh god. Either way, checkmate was the result. And then after this, like I said, I just started going on an absolute tear and just couldn't stop. Well, I lost one of these games, but other than that, yeah, from March 10, I just kept playing, 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 playing. And then eventually I did this 10-minute game, which I'll quickly go over, although there's not much to it because it wasn't the best. I won't even go through analysis. E4 classic. Okay, this. I like this variation. I don't know what this is. The Lucina variation apparently, where if they're not taking, they're pinning themselves. I might as well play d4, take control of the center, advance my knight in, and then I'll take the knight. If not, I just do this straight. I cancel, give them a chance to keep developing their other pieces, and if they take, then I can finally take with check, check, take. Attacking this bishop. I took a little long for this queen d3 move. I want to see if there's something like a sacrifice or pushing forward movements with the queen instead of just backing up. This was apparently the best move or something along those lines. And so I was like, okay, I'm developing. I realized that he castled queenside, so I was like, okay, my bishop probably does better a little down here, attacking his pawn. It's okay. And I started chucking pawns at him. So okay, this will eventually do something. It did a rook lift, weird rook lift here. I was threatening to take this pawn. Oh, I was threatening to take this pawn here with my queen, but he saw that. So he moved out the way. I'm jumping in with the knight. He might trade. I did. So okay, now I'm getting attacked. Here, I could have taken, but now I took. Here, I played too fast and played queen f3. When as soon as I played queen f3, I realized like I should have obviously played queen b4, right? Attacking that weak pawn. So I was like, okay, that was a mistake. As soon as I played that, I knew it was wrong. I played it too quickly. Let's see how much time I took. Yeah, it's like 14 seconds, but still, I should have easily been able to realize that was incorrect because he's gonna mess up my pawns. But he didn't take it. I attacked this bishop on me. He could have just taken my queens, messed up my pawns, and then kept on just gobbling them up. And then here I made a mistake because he just take the um the pawn because his rook defends via X-ray, right? So he doesn't have to worry about that. But regardless, he just took. I took. He went back. I said, you know what? I think this is probably better for me. I'd rather him take and have an active rook, and he took. I took back. I said I probably should just play a rook f5 from the beginning, which I eventually did. So I said, okay, let me get up close. Let me make sure his king can't come up. And this is where I got the decisive, obvious win. Not obvious win, but it was winning position where I knew, and this is part of the psychology you have to realize, where I'm thinking, this guy's not necessarily the highest rated. So if I play this, he'll play, predicting his moves, not because I'm predicting, oh, what's the best move in the position, but what is the most likely move that he'll make, which is sometimes more important than just always calculating the best move. Because I've caught other players in over the board tournaments where I'm like, if I play this one knight move or this rook move, he's not gonna see this other move where I fork his pieces. Matter of fact, there's a game I don't know if I'll find it, but or I'll show it where I knew checking him with the rook would push his king because he's not realizing. I think it was in a bullet game where I'll be able to fork him and his rook and get it, and it was a win, and I won that one, right? And so in this position, I knew, or I didn't know. You never know, but a very good guess, educated guess, off of playing so many games. If I take this pawn, he's gonna take my rook first. He's not even gonna think about it. Sure enough, 4 seconds later, he takes it. I'm gonna take with check. I'm gonna take that pawn. He's gonna give me space, and I'm gonna get close. And I'm gonna take that pawn, promote my pawn. He's gonna have a nightmare of a time trying to take my pawns to push his pawns forward, and I win. Sure enough, that is winning. But this was the big mistake. With 3 minutes remaining, actually I was playing this late at night. But with 3 minutes remaining, I should have realized that my pawn at b2 on b2 is preventing any of his pawns from pushing forward. This pawn's never gonna go push forward. This pawn A or C pawns, I'll just take them. So the king has to run all the way down to take this pawn, the B pawn, and take the C and B pawn as well on the top, so that they can actually push forward his own pawns. So doing this just made it easier for him. Irregardless, I was just faster, so eventually I just won all the pawns. It's just a clean up, but it could have gone awry, if you will. But yeah, I messed that one up royally. Easily could have lost. But again, he didn't see it. I didn't see it. He was playing fast. Again, most of your opponents, especially under 2000, all that, they want to win, but they'll win based off of cheap tactics and just playing fast. Because look, this guy has 5 minutes, 50 seconds, pretty much rounding up. I have about 3 minutes, but I still won. Right now, I'm gonna mate him in 3 minutes with a queen, and but I take all his pawns first just to make sure, triple check, make sure he doesn't win. But he's not gonna win, and he knows that. That's why he's like he resigns. But why do you want to resign with more time in a worse position? I'd rather lose on time and know I was mating and realize that as long as the mindset, the thinking process, and everything behind it is still up to par with the rating I'm supposed to have, I think that's more beneficial in what you really want out of your chess games, right? You don't want to, oh, I lost this game, and you don't analyze this like you played with half the time you were given, and then you lost. So I wonder why. Again, but yeah, that's pretty much it. This rapid game, but mainly that blitz game with the knight. Was it knight f3? I think it was a knight f3 sack, right? Crazy game in terms of finding that mover. It wasn't necessarily analyzed. I'm sure if someone just analyzed the position, analyzed all the lines, the variations, like, oh yeah, this is objectively the best move, which it is. But to instinctually realize this is what I gotta play, this is how I'm gonna win, I'd say is the hallmark of you know a chess player with potential. And I say that only because I'm thinking about myself. But hey, if you're watching and you're just like 1200, 1300, but you thought about that move, you got potential because you have the right mindset, right? Sometimes you just gotta know when to pounce and how to get those beautiful games where you just sack a piece. And sometimes, like I said, again, I'll repeat it, not even analyzing, not even checking, just knowing or feeling that that's the right move. And that's very important in chess. But and also it also shows that you don't have bad habits, right? Of course, if you see it but don't play because you're scared, that's not good. Unless it was unsound, but you should still play it anyway. It's like you're under 2000. You're not Magnus Carlsen or any other super jam who doesn't want to risk their rating points. Like, go ahead, play the sack. I had one sack where for no reason I just thought in my head, I'm gonna sack my knight in like the middle of the board. It's like an opening. Let me just sack it. See what happens. Apparently, according to the engine, even after throwing my piece away, if I played it right, which I didn't, but if I had, it would have actually been around zeros or even 0.15 for me. So I was like, clearly there's a lot more nuance inside that position where I can be down a whole piece. Doesn't seem like I have much of attack, but the way that his king was open, all that, it was still better. So it's just those instincts where I'm like, this just feels like a good move, or at the very least, like it's something that I should be able to do without being, necessarily under attack or facing severe consequences. Like this should be playable. Sure enough, engine says it was. Again, I don't trust this engine, but when it jumps up that much, it's typically right. Although I would rather put it in an engine on my computer, like actually running with Stockfish 18. But again, that's kind of the point. One, I'm gone on my streak again. I'm over 1800 and Blitz over 1800 and Bullet now, but I had peaked at 1950. But I'm trying to get that back. I'll keep playing Bullet, and then my Rapid I have to actually focus on because that's the more important time control that shows whether you're learning or not. Because if of course, like I mentioned, you're using your time, it should be pretty indicative of where you are in terms of say what it would be in OTB, right over the board. Which I signed up for another tournament this weekend, and we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I can get a couple tournaments in this month, next month, because I want to go to the Chicago Open on the under 1700 section. But my rating is not up there, and still need a couple more games to get the full points or full like official rating where they think it's not provisional, and I'm like at the level I'm supposed to be for the full awards or prizes if I were to win. So there's that. And then if I get up to under 1700, but over I think it's 1500 or 1600, I'm gonna have to put in a lot more hours and study for chess because I'm trying to win that tournament. Because not only will it help raise my elo, but it'll be a good video and the prize is pretty good, right? And it's one of the few tournaments that are that big that are around my area. Because I saw a couple more which were in like Las Vegas or in I don't think it was in Florida, but I think it was like on the East Coast or something along those lines. So, and I can't really go to those. I would have to win first place guaranteed, like get first place to even recoup most of the money I would spend just getting there and staying there. So, yeah, it's tough, I guess. If I have the dream of being a professional chess player, but yeah, there's not really money to be made in chess. At least not in these local tournaments. You'd have to be really good, and even then, America doesn't necessarily support their players, let alone their chess players. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not at that level where I should even be concerned with that. I'm just trying to play chess and get better, and finally reach a plateau. Because I don't feel like I've plateaued yet. I still have more to give and more to learn and actually apply of what I already know. And so I just have to take it seriously, see where my plateau is. I might even crack 2000 without having to put in as much effort. And when I finally put effort, maybe I'll get stuck at like Canon Master, FIDE Master. So hopefully within a year, I should be able to see, given that I, put the effort in, I should see where my natural limits or natural talent, if you will, takes me without, without coaches, without reading my books, which I have a lot of, if you've seen my other videos. But I mean, I'm telling you, I actually gotta put in some work, you know, what is talent if talent doesn't work hard, right? Or kind of what I'm trying to get at is the same where it's like hard work beats talent, so talent works hard, right? I like to think I have talent. Most people don't crack 1,000. I haven't really been. I only watch videos on YouTube as most people do, and I was easily over 1,000 when I started in high school, and just with a couple more actual, you know, concentrated efforts, I've cracked 1,800. I've even been 1950 in bullet, right? When I'm really locked in, focusing, looking at the opening a bit more instead of just constantly playing. I was playing the Caracan run. I was playing other openings wrong. Like I'm playing these openings memorized but not understanding. And when I started to look into them a little bit more, my rating blew up, right? So, and it's such a small incremental, not a small change that caused such a big leap in my rating that I was like, there's a lot more there in potential because it's all just opening, right? And actually looking at how you play it, which is mostly what the under 2000 section is. Until you get to 2000 and above, where plans, strategy, and all the real nice stuff, the meat and potatoes of what true chess is, that's when it's gonna get good. But again, that's it for today. I just want to show these games. I'm still working on my chess for anyone keeping track. I'm considering making more of the Anki videos again, or at least some Japanese related videos, because there was a comment that about my Anki video flashcards and whatnot, where I was like, you know what? Some people might actually watch these videos. And that's why I want to make more content as well. Hopefully, this is my second video of the week. Hopefully, I get a third video out. And then next week, another three and another three, and just get that habit going. I'm starting to read Atomic Habits as well, which I was going to say, I already read Charles Duhigg's The Power of Habit. So I understand some of the mechanisms behind habit making, if you will. And he mentions it, James Clear, in his book, or he mentions Charles Duhigg in his book. So, there's a lot in common there. And so I'm trying to get to that. I'm trying to sleep earlier, get better sleep, study, and do what I have to do. I gotta get a job too. I gotta start applying. Not that I'm like some bum or anything. I'm a full time student. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't hurt to have a part time job. So I'll be looking for that as well. And yeah, I think that's about it. Uh, Thanks for tuning in, I guess, and keep your eye out for my journey in chess because I do not plan to stop. If anything, I'm barely starting my actual journey on improvement. So we'll see how far I get until I finally have to truly put in more hours than what I am right now. Okay. Um, Take care and thanks for watching.